Welcome to the Ports Garrison. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Greetings and welcome to the Ports Garrison. I am your old Speedy Port, and I thank you for taking the time out to click, to watch this video, to see what's going on in my thoughts. Now, recently while watching Skysports in their after-game analysis of the Manchester City versus Liverpool game, I came across a very interesting comment. And that comment has been classified by many persons as racist or ignorant and so on. There was a statement made by former Liverpool player Jamie Carragher. Now, among the panel was Daniel Sturridge, Mika Richards, former Manchester United player Roy Keane. And the thing that Carragher said that had a lot of people up in arms, including Rio Ferdinand and so on, was the fact that he stated that the AFCON, the African Cup of Nations tournament, is not a major tournament. Now, I disagree with him, and many other persons did. Now, take a listen to what Carragher had to say.
The fact he's probably with Egypt and he's probably not playing in the major tournament as such, or maybe got a great chance of winning. I think it's either the Champions League or the major tournament. Normally, the player who excels in that. You know, you're looking at sort of Vinny Jr., Mbappe right now, Real Madrid looking really good, going for the Champions League. Liverpool will be in that conversation, but right now, he's certainly the front runner. And Roy, what you've just said there in terms of getting maybe more trophies and league titles, that could actually put him above probably Kenny Dalglish and Steven Gerrard in sort of where he ranks in terms of Liverpool legends, because I think right now he's right on their shoulders.
Just say AFCON is a major tournament because a lot of people are a bit saying people not taking that. Say, AFCON is a major tournament, just so you don't...
No, well, Egypt are not going to win the World Cup, are they?
No, but AFCON is big, wasn't it? Remember when him and Mane was going for it? And I'm just saying, AFCON...
It's a fact. It's a fact. If you win the Euros or you win the Copa America, it's deemed to be big, so the AFCON's in the same level.
Now, I surely disagree with him. And Sturridge and Richards also disagree with him, but he wouldn't take their corrections. Now, one player who did not take kindly to Carragher's statement or demeanor is former Chelsea player John Obi, former captain of Nigeria, former Champions League winner, Premier League winner, AFCON winner, Silver Ball player of the World Youth Cup, and so on. Very decorated player. I've never seen him so upset and angry. Now listen, pull your seats out and take a look. You can't afford to miss a word of what John Obi, the Nigerian, had to say about Carragher. Here.
Us. It is all about, well, certain comments that were made back on Sunday. We've taken a bit of time. As I say, a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon with regards to comments made from Jamie Carragher relating to the African Cup of Nations. Of course, a tournament that is dear to your heart, John.
Yes.
Tournament that you won with Nigeria, captained the Super Eagles to success in 2013. The insinuation being, I know Jamie Carragher has come out on social media to say there's been an awful lot of virtue signalling. A lot of people have clambered on board the bandwagon. Pandering to the gallery is essentially what he's said with regards to this. But listen, given the fact that you're a proud African, proud Nigerian, you've played in the tournament, you've won it, John, I think you're better placed than most to pass comment on what was said, first and foremost. So let's get that out the way. The African Cup of Nations is a major tournament. Yes.
No doubt about it. There is no fucking doubt about it. The African Cup of Nations is, I've always said it. I was privileged and lucky to have won so many major trophies in my football career. And I've always said it. The Champions League and the African Cup of Nations is my two biggest trophies that I did win with my in my career, because for me I always rank the African Cup of Nations same level as I rank the Champions League. So for somebody to come out and make that statement, first of all, I just want to say the statement that he's made, this is bigger than a statement. This is just bigger than somebody making a statement, because you have over to 1.6 billion people in Africa. You know what I mean?
2 billion watched the last.
2 billion
more than
watched
2
the
billion.
last tournament.
Yeah.
And you call it a small tournament. It's so disrespectful what he said. And this is coming from somebody who never won any, major international competition with England. Well, he has to play to win, and he never did both. So for me, I think the statement was so wrong and
Ignorant, John, would you?
and ignorant as well to disrespect such a wonderful tournament. We talk about African players coming into the Premier League to play in the Premier League. The Premier League, it is what it is today because of players from Africa, players from South America that come into the Premier League to make the Premier League what it is today.
Diverse
Is a diversity that the Premier League has that's made this tournament, the Premier League, what it is today, the best league in the world. And it's because of players that are from Africa, players that are from South America, players from Europe. Everybody is coming into this Premier League to make it what it is today. So if you're sitting there thinking that the Premier League would be what it is today, just with the English players, you're fucking having a laugh, mate. You're having a fucking laugh.
I agree.
So the diversity is what makes a tournament what it is today. And for us in Africa, football is everything for us. Football is everything to everybody. I remember when there was a war that was going to break out in Ivory Coast. And Didier Drogba and the rest of Ivory Coast team came out and spoke to the whole country. And what happened? The fighting stopped. The war that was going to break out stopped. Millions of people were going to be killed. Children were going to be butchered. People were going to be killed because of the African Cup of Nations, because of football.
Yeah.
Didier Drogba and the rest of the team came out, made a statement, and the war stopped. Just for everybody to come together and support and watch Ivory Coast play in the African Cup of Nations. And you sit there with your mouth in the biggest platform, in the biggest organization in the world, on TV, everybody watching you, and you sit there with your mouth and just discredit such a tournament. For me, that is an absolutely something wrong. His statement is so wrong. And I hope that he will come out and make a massive apology because he owes people around the world an apology.
It's interesting.
He does.
John, you and I spoke before recording this podcast, and one thing that really kind of got under your skin, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but fair play and credit to Mika Richards and Daniel Sturridge for saying, hold on a second, Jamie. It's an open discourse. They jumped in and say, I just want to temper what you've said there. The African Cup of Nations is a major tournament.
It is a major tournament.
And it was
exactly. So for me, the biggest thing is that, when somebody's sitting there, and he says something wrong, he's talking and he says something wrong, and you have two guys sitting there, by the way, two fantastic footballers sitting there and try to correct you. And the smirk on his face, the arrogant fucking smirk on his face to dismiss, give me a minute. It's shit anyways, African combination. That smirk on his face is what tipped me off. It's what absolutely tipped me off. And you have other people coming out to try to correct you. And you coming out and attacking everybody else and keep, discrediting this wonderful, wonderful tournament. I'm lucky enough to win the to win the African Cup of Nations. I know the blood and tears we shared to be able to win the African Cup of Nations. If you ask a player like Didier Drogba today, fantastic player, fantastic team with Ivory Coast, did not get to win the African tournament. It's one of the most difficult tournament to win, and to be able to do it with your national team is absolutely fantastic. And for somebody to come out and say that, somebody who never won anything with England, to come out and make such statement. This guy says so many things on TV. Never won the Premier League, analyzes teams and tell them, they have to win the Premier League, but you haven't won it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it takes to win the fucking Premier League. You don't know what it takes to win, with your national team. You can't discredit such a wonderful, wonderful tournament that, people in Africa die for the African Cup of Nations. Children, kids grow up watching their idols, watching their country, supporting their country. Because the African Cup of Nations is what inspires them. The next generation, the influx of African players coming into the Premier League, coming to Europe to play, is because of they grew up watching the African Cup of Nations.
I could be wrong on this, John, and I'm speaking very much to Jamie now. I would wonder if he's ever been down to Africa to actually attend
after this comment. I don't think you will ever be welcome to go to Africa. There's no chance.
Educate oneself, because I think, and I've seen and I've read an awful lot of the comments based on what Jamie said, and I think one of the issues that I would certainly raise is the fact that I've seen a lot of people say, but he makes a valid point. I've seen a lot of outrage, but I have seen a lot of people have said,
well, he made a valid point about the structure of the African tournament or the African football. Yes, we can sit here. I've always said it on this podcast. I've always said it. I've always been honest here and said it. That yes, the corruption is there. The higher authorities can do much better. The federation can do much better. If our football is being run properly.
Yeah.
If the people in charge run the football properly, everything is in structure. Yes, do you think the players from Africa would be rushing to come down to Europe to play? No, they wouldn't, because we celebrate, we worship, we enjoy our football back home. But the physicality, the power, the speed, the flair that we have in our game that we bring to the Premier League. The players like Jejo Kocha that everybody tune in to watch, the skills that he brought to the Premier League. DJ Drogba, the power, the power, the goal scoring. Michael Essien, the power.
What a player.
George Weah, Yaya Toure.
Unreal.
Our generation, what we helped to grow the Premier League. You know, the influx of players that helped build Chelsea Football Club, which is one of the biggest clubs right now in the Premier League. The African players we had back in our days.
Yeah. Jeremy as well.
Jeremy Zeta. You can't sit there and discredit such a massive tournament. I have always said it. So you're telling me that the Euros is way bigger because he's the Euros.
But it's and this is the point I want to get to. It is seen as bigger to Europeans because it is
you gotta expand your
horizons. I'm with you on that, John. And I think, just because you are a proud Englishman or a proud European, there's a Eurocentricity kind of look on the fact, the Euros is the biggest Copa America because they have Brazil and Argentina. But look at the numbers, over 2 billion tuned in, the biggest African Cup of Nations that's ever been, the last event. I think the other thing, and you and I spoke about this again before this pod, I think what doesn't help the optics of the African Cup of Nations, and I think is partly the reason why a lot of people out there dismiss it or perhaps not see it as a quote-unquote major or massive tournament, is because of its position in the calendar, John. There's a lot of Premier League only fans who think that football begins and ends with the Premier League. The African Cup of Nations being a December and a January tournament, a lot of people, not me, I don't.
No, exactly. We can talk about that. We've always said that.
Because they lose the players in December and January for 4 to 6 weeks to the African Cup of Nations.
True.
That doesn't help it.
No, that doesn't help, but that doesn't you can't discredit a tournament just because of that. In Africa, in June, July, we know what the weather is like.
Correct.
You can't stand the weather back home. And that's why we thought, okay, when do we play the tournament? And of course, the best time to play is in December, January, because that's when the weather is bearable. And so for us, we've tried to change it. So many times we've tried to find out how can we change it? How can we fit into the calendar whereby is played same time as the Euro, same time, but we just can't. You know what I mean? So yes, there's so many excuses, but listen, we talk about you can't sit there. There's so many kids growing up. We talk about inclusion as well. This is we only talk about inclusion in society, talk about inclusion in the world. And we're trying to change things like that in the world. The perception of people.
Yeah.
This doesn't help when somebody like you that has a massive following that sits there in one of the biggest, platform in the world, and make comments like this, and you talk about inclusion because you think the Euros is more better because of what?
Yeah.
There is no escape to this. I just think his statement is so bad. And again, I've said it because the African Cup of Nations is as big. I don't care what you say because I've played in it. I've won it. It's not his fucking place to discredit the African Cup of Nations. It's not his fucking place.
Yeah. I can see you're angry. And a lot of
I am fucking angry.
And it's because
he spent so many years playing for Liverpool. He didn't win the Premier League. And he sits there week in, week out telling people, teaching, coaching, trying to tell people how to win the Premier League. And you haven't won it.
Yeah.
To all African people, to all fucking African people who tune in, week out, watching the Premier League, watching Skysports, one of the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
I know how Africans don't have money to eat. They're starving. But what happens? They watch the fucking Premier League. They watch you on the weekend. And you sit there, open your mouth, and discredit the whole fucking African continent, saying your African Nations tournament is shit. It's shit. That it has no value because it's not Euros or the Copa America. He can fuck off. I'm telling you. Because we know in Africa what we bring to the Premier League, what the players that come into the Premier League bring to the Premier League from Africa. The players that have played in this tournament, that have come out, represented Africa boldly. Some of the best. Starting from George Weah.
Yeah.
Who's won the Ballon d'Or, by the way?
Last African.
He's African.
Only African.
He's African.
And you look at the players, John, Mo Salah, the best player on the planet right now, proud Egyptian. Man City have just invested best part of 70 million quid on an Egyptian, Omar Marmoush, to rescue their season. Victor Osimhen, one of the best strikers in the world. Ademola Lookman, hat-trick in last season's Europa League. That's just 4 of the key players in African football. And I'm going to throw in a country in Morocco reaching the semi-finals. Of the FIFA World Cup.
Players hold off, play representing the African countries. Do you think this statement like this from him helps?
No.
Players try to embrace their origin, where they're from, where their country is from.
Yeah, what it does.
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
Because they look at it thinking, of course, Jamie Carragher said Egypt will never win the World Cup. Why would I hold off playing for Egypt? Why would I hold off playing for Nigeria? Why would I hold off playing for Ghana? I have more chance winning the World Cup playing for England, playing for Spain, because Jamie Carragher said that. And we said that. I said that on this podcast. That does not help. The statement does not help.
For anyone watching this, John, and perhaps who have never been to an African Cup of Nations or never been to Africa to watch a football game, let's celebrate it. What is it that makes it so magical?
Oh, the culture. The culture. Football is everything for us. The culture. We watch football, we die football, we eat football, we sleep football.
And it's interesting.
The amount of people that have supported from Africa, supported the English teams, just because we African players play for those English teams.
Yeah.
Chelsea have a massive, absolute massive followings now in Africa. Because of what? Because of players like me, Didier Drogba, Michael Essien, Solomon Kalou, that's come and represented Chelsea from Africa.
And England, the country.
And England, and the country. Made the Premier League what it is today. The biggest league in the world.
Yeah.
It's because of the diversity. So don't sit there and think because you think if it's just because of the English players, the Premier League, what it is today. No, it's not. It's because of the diversity of the players. It's because of the players that come from Africa, from South America, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Spain. The coaches, the staffs, the cleaners, all those people. I played for Chelsea for 11, 12 years. Our laundry man was from Ghana.
Was he?
Yes, from Ghana. The impact that he made, that every fucking day we go to the training ground, Eric, his name was. Everybody shouting, Eric, where's my shorts? Where's my pants? Eric made sure everything is there for you every morning. That's the impact that he gave to us in the Premier League.
Yeah, no
people that you don't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he needs to shut his fucking mouth before he criticizes Africa and what we stand for and what we enjoy and who we are. Because it's bigger than football. His statement is bigger than football.
One of the positives, the biggest positive that might come out of this, is the fact that we're now talking about Africa Cup of Nations. We're going to educate people. There'll be people now that will say, right, let's watch it if we haven't watched it before. Because I find a lot of people are commenting that I do question, but have you ever watched an African Cup of Nations game? Have you ever taken the time to immerse yourself in it? We get so bogged down, and I understand if you're a European, the Euros. I can understand if you're a football fan, the Lamine Yamals from Spain, the Englands, the France, the Italys. We're talking about nations here who have won the FIFA World Cup. But ultimately, you can't really pass comment until you've taken the time out to educate yourself on African football.
You have to watch it.
And watch it.
You have to watch it. But again, sometimes it comes down to the coverage, to the TV, the people that televise the game.
And that's what I go back to.
Sometimes, at the last African Cup of Nations, the games, they started showing the game 20 minutes later. 20 minutes fucking later.
After the kickoff.
After the kickoff. Some of them had no fucking commentary.
Help.
That doesn't help, does it?
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Because the TVs didn't give a fuck about what it is. That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't help. When you have big players like Mo Salah that play in those tournaments right now, Victor Osimhen, best player right now in the world, Mo Salah.
Yeah.
That play in those tournaments, that represent Egypt, represent the African root. Comments like this don't help. When we talk about players embracing the African root, embracing who they are, the inclusion that we're trying to create all around the world, not just in football. And you sit there discrediting all the continents tournament, saying, it's not as good as yours. Who the fuck are you? It's not as good as yours. Who the fuck are you to speak?
Yeah,
if you won the Euros with England, I might understand that. If you won a major tournament with England, I might understand that. You won fuck all with England. Fuck all you won. And you trying to discredit the tournament that I won, that I shed blood, tears, growing up watching it. Players like Stephen Keshi, who passed away, who won it as a player and as a coach. The tears and blood that he shed to win that. Growing up thinking, I want to win. One of my biggest things that I want to do is to win with my African country. Is to win with Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
That was my biggest dream growing up. Because I know how growing up, my dad, everybody used to watch it. The disappointment when we never get to win it. Every time we crashed out of a tournament, the disappointment. Family, friends, people die from it. People die from losing in the African Nations. And you discredit it?
Yeah. I can see you're angry, you're passionate, John, and
I am fucking angry.
For good reason. You've explained
and it's for good reason.
Of course.
Because I know how difficult it is to win the African Nations.
Yeah.
I know what it means to my people. I know. Yes, the authorities can do much better. Of course they can. The authorities can do fucking much better.
Broadcasters.
They can be held responsible. And this is why we get disrespected. Because of the people, the authorities, the people who sit there, who can make our football much, much better.
But, as you said to me, don't allow the bureaucracy to blind you.
The bureaucracy cannot affect
you. Because the players and
the players and the fans make up the tournament.
Yeah.
The players, the football, and the fans make up the tournament. The bureaucracy, I don't give a fuck about. It has to be better. Yes, it has to be better. Yes, it has to be better. But that does not take away what we enjoy, who we are. The flair that we have in Africa. Where the way we play, the way we enjoy our game. the way we watch our game, the way we celebrate our game, the culture of Africa. There is no better culture watching football, enjoying football. Go to the stadiums in Africa and watch the way people celebrate and watch football. The drums playing, the vuvuzelas going on.
I want that credit card to come out. You got to take me to an African Cup of Nations game, John. I need to come and sample it.
You
myself.
have to.
I would love to.
The joy. When people go back and watch it, the African Cup of Nations, the food, everything you enjoy.
I'll hold you to that.
And you can't. For me, this is what pains me, and that's why I'm so angry about it. So angry about it.
Want to move the conversation?
Now, as I said before, I've never seen, because I watch his podcast quite frequently, and I've never seen John Obi so animated and so angry. And to my mind, he has good grounds to stand on. I agree with him totally. Now tell me in the comment section if you agreed with Carragher or you agree with the sentiments of John Mikel or John Obi Mikel. And until next time, as always, I thank you for watching. Enough love, enough manners, enough respects. Blessings. Thanks for watching.